When I married her, I kept my true wealth hidden. I wanted a woman who loved me for who I was, not for my bank balance. So I lived simply. An average apartment, a modest car, ordinary clothes. She said she loved me, and I believed her. For a while, life seemed perfect. We shared laughter, late-night walks, and dreams of the future. But slowly, I noticed her eyes wandering. She compared me to others, friends' husbands with luxury cars, expensive gifts, glamorous lifestyles. I stayed silent, hoping love would outweigh greed. I didn't realize my test was about to fail. One evening, she came home glowing with excitement. She told me about a man she had met at a party, a successful businessman, charming, and incredibly wealthy. She spoke of him like he was a dream come true. I pretended to smile, but inside, my chest burned with fear. That night, she turned her back to me in bed, lost in thoughts of him. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering if her love for me was real, or if it had always been tied to material things. My heart whispered the truth I didn't want to hear. Days turned into weeks, and she grew colder. She ignored my calls, avoided dinners, and always had excuses. "I'm busy with friends," she'd say. But I knew the truth. She was with him. I followed her one night, and my worst nightmare unfolded before my eyes. She was laughing, holding his hand, sitting in his luxury car. I stood in the shadows, broken, watching the woman I loved trade my affection for wealth she thought I didn't have. Tears blurred my vision, but I refused to confront her. I wanted to see how far her betrayal would go. Eventually, she came to me. She didn't even try to hide her choice. "I can't live like this anymore," she said coldly. "I deserve better. He can give me everything you can't." Her words were knives, stabbing deeper with every syllable. She packed her bags without hesitation, leaving me with silence and shattered trust. I watched her walk away, carrying not just her belongings, but the love I once believed was pure. That night, I sat alone in the empty house, drowning in heartbreak. She thought she was upgrading her life, but she never knew the truth I carried. See, I was wealthier than the man she ran to. Much wealthier. My businesses, hidden behind silent partners, stretched across cities. My investments grew every day, silently building an empire. I had deliberately lived humbly, because I wanted a wife who loved me, not my money. She failed that test. She sold her heart cheaply, without ever realizing she already had everything she desired. The irony twisted inside me. I could have given her palaces, diamonds, and cars beyond imagination, but instead, I gave her honesty, simplicity, and loyalty. She rejected it all for a glittering illusion. Months passed, and I focused on my empire. I built, expanded, and thrived while she disappeared into another man's world. But whispers traveled. Friends told me she wasn't happy. The man she chose showered her with gifts, but also controlled her every move. She was his trophy. Nothing more. The sparkle in her eyes faded. The smile she once wore for him vanished. Yet my heart no longer ached. I had bled enough for her betrayal. Now I only felt pity. She had thrown away love for gold, only to discover that wealth without love is a prison. One day, fate brought us face to face. I arrived at a luxury hotel for a business meeting, stepping out of my chauffeur-driven car, dressed in a tailored suit. She was there, standing beside him, and when her eyes met mine, she froze. She looked me up and down, her lips trembling. The man she left me for was powerful, but compared to me, he was nothing. I saw the shock in her eyes as she realized the truth. The man she had abandoned for money was far poorer than the man she betrayed. Regret washed over her face. Later that night, she called me. Her voice shook. "Why didn't you tell me? Why did you hide it?" she asked, almost crying. I stayed silent for a moment before answering. "Because I wanted love, not greed. I gave you a chance to choose me for who I was, but you chose money over loyalty." She begged for another chance, saying she had made a mistake, that she still loved me. But her words felt empty. Love doesn't abandon at the first sight of glitter. I listened quietly, then ended the call. Some wounds can't be healed. Weeks later, I heard she left the rich man too. Alone, desperate, and broken, she lived in regret. People whispered about her fall from grace, how she chased wealth but lost love, how she betrayed her husband only to end up with nothing. Sometimes I think of her, not with hatred, but with sorrow. She taught me a lesson no wealth could buy, that love tested by greed reveals the truth of a person's soul. She chose wrong, and now she must live with that choice. I moved forward, but she remained chained to her past. As I sit today in my mansion, surrounded by the empire I built, I realize the greatest riches are not cars or diamonds. They are loyalty, trust, and true love. She betrayed me for money, never knowing I had more than she ever dreamed. But the tragedy isn't that she left. It's that she never really loved me at all. Her betrayal broke me, but it also freed me. And so I tell this story not for sympathy, but as a warning. Sometimes, chasing gold will make you lose the diamond you already hold.